All right, we are back for another edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Number 2.
Episode 2. It's been, we took a few weeks off because we realized after that initial episode, the Bakhtiari brothers carried most of it. We were just not our normal selves, so we had to go to the drawing board a little
The
bit.
bar was set way too high.
So
we set the bar extremely high.
We took a little break. We planned to show out. We actually put some structure into it so that we weren't just shooting the shit. We actually got about 195 organic listens on that.
Yeah.
On that podcast.
And then I totally messed up. We tried to do the Facebook. This is a terrible.
Yeah, just don't tell the story.
I'll tell the story. Yeah. So we tried to do a Facebook promotion, push it out there. So I paid, I think, what was it, $15 to get that. Did not realize the country box. I missed United States and somehow clicked Vietnam. A lot of likes from Vietnamese.
I was wondering. I was like, there's no way that there's like 5 different Kims that all like Unsportsmanlike Conduct. There's no way they're all listening.
It was, they were very weird accounts. I'm very happy that they did like it. I don't know, maybe if that's like a courteous thing to do if you see something on a wall in Vietnam to just like it right away, because there's no way they were listening. But thanks, guys. I think now that we have a fan base out there, we got to keep pushing it out in Vietnam now, I think.
Next thing you know, it's like we got no American listeners, but we're moving
huge in Vietnam,
Southeast Asia.
Yes, yeah.
But we got some great stuff to talk about today. We're going to start off with some NBA action. We got Jovan Buha, who's a Clippers blogger for ESPN. He writes for Fox Sports as well. So we'll talk a little Clippers Warriors with him, as well as what Doc Rivers has done to help evolve the Clippers into the team they are today. We'll also talk about what the Heat's chances are for repeating if the Thunder look shaky in the West, as long as a bunch of little tidbits. Charlie Strong, Texas coach, had some strange things to say about their championship hopes. Carmelo Anthony, does he stay or does he go? Who goes first in the NFL draft coming up in May? And Albert Pujols gets to 500 home runs. Is that a big accomplishment? So we got a bunch of little tidbits to talk about, in addition to the big stories going on around the NBA and NHL playoffs. So, getting started, our first question is, in the East, who has the best chance to upset the Heat, if any team? And, just off initial thoughts, off seeing what we've seen a couple games of each series. What are you thinking, Tommy? Who is the best chance to upset the Heat?
Literally no one. The only people who can beat the Heat are the Heat. If the Heat just fall on their face in a series, but they'd have to do it 4 times. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them even going to 7 games with anyone. I think they're just going to run through this and then run into the
I wouldn't
finals.
say they looked that spectacular against Charlotte, though. At least in the game 1. They won. I know they take it easy in the first round, but that's you kind of just answered my own question there. But I will say this: I legitimately think if there's one team that's going to beat the Heat, it's not the Pacers, but it's the Nets.
The Nets. Paul
Pierce and KG have always played the Heat well in the playoffs. They beat them all 4 times this year. It's the only team to sweep a season series from the Heat since the Heat got LeBron James.
They
have talent. They're old. No, they shouldn't beat the Heat. But if one team's going to do it, I think they have a better shot than the Pacers. You got anything that's a better answer than that, Tommy?
I'm not 100% sure the Nets are going to get out of the first round. I know they won game 1. They lost game 2. So I think people overlook the Raptors. I honestly think the Raptors will take care of the Heat. And then the Raptors don't match up well.
I'm going to be honest with you. My argument, it hurts a little bit because when we started talking, I didn't realize the game was over. The Nets had the lead. I did not check up on the score. I felt good about that prediction. That throws things off a little bit. I'm still sticking with the Nets. I can't switch it up now, but that hurts, Still, 1 of 2 on the road, Headed back to Barclays Center.
We won home court. So Mark Jackson likes that, so whatever.
All right, moving on to our next topic, talking about the Western Conference. Thunder looking a little sketchy, losing game 2 to the Grizzlies last night. Did the Thunder make a mistake when they traded James Harden? And would you rather have James Harden than Russell Westbrook right now? What's going on with the Thunder, and are they going to come out of the West?
I'm going to say that was a mistake. And I don't know how... I don't remember, to be honest with you, how the contracts worked out. If maybe it was just because Harden's expired first, and then that's why that'll happen. But I would much rather have a team that's centered around Durant and Harden than Durant and Westbrook, because I think Westbrook is too much of an individual. He can lose you games. I don't think Harden can do that as much as Westbrook does because Westbrook's more of a loose cannon. So I think it would have been a much better pair to have those two and let Westbrook go. I think it was rumored that he was going to go to Phoenix or something like that. I would have let him go. But they have what they have now, and I don't think they can win a championship with those two guys.
It's Monday morning quarterbacking it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was.
But I mean, as we look at it now, though, I mean, I don't think the Thunder can beat the Spurs. Do you think the Thunder can beat the Spurs? The way the way that they're built right now. I mean, last year Westbrook goes down. It's kind of a crazy scenario where they go down. But now they're back. They haven't looked as good since Westbrook came back. I mean, Durant was dominating when Westbrook was there. So who's your pick right now in the West? Like who's knocking off the Spurs?
I mean, honestly, I don't think it would be the Thunder, and I know that's crazy because it's supposed to be, the Thunder is supposed to be that formidable opponent. But I don't. I think if anyone, I think the Trailblazers have the best shot. And
interesting. Not the Clippers. You wouldn't say Clippers over the Trailblazers.
No, I just think that Trailblazers have the best shot.
Even dropping that actually no, they won the first game in Houston.
Yeah,
that was a crazy. All right, third topic before we move on to our second round. That'll be a little fun. Is the age limit in the NBA with Adam Silver's proposing that they move it to 20, where it's at 19 right now, so 2 years in college. I'm not a fan of this at all. No. I think if you're really trying to make a change, what you do is you make a rule similar to baseball where you say you can either come out after high school if you're a LeBron or you're a Carmelo or you're that type, even though Carmelo went to college, or you have to stay 2 years. And the big reason that agents hate this is because if a player has to wait one more year to come out, then they can't get to their second contract for another year. So I think you put a provision into the rule that says if you come out a year later, you can get that second if you come out when you're 20, you can get that second contract 2 years earlier. So if someone came out after high school, you can get that second contract at the exact same time as them. So then the agents don't care. That equals it out for them. Unless I'm missing something, I don't see how that wouldn't fix the issue. But to make a rule that people can't come out till they're 20, what happens when you have another LeBron come along? Or not even a LeBron, but a player on a similar level. You know what? It's ridiculous that they have to stay in college for 2 years.
I'm gonna jump way into the future, and I could be way off on this, and I do this a lot where I'm way off on something, but at least it's a different idea. So, you have to sit out 1 year. You're gonna go to college, it's 1 year. That's fine. You have to sit out 2 years. Now you're starting to think about going somewhere else, aren't you? You're starting to think maybe I should go to Europe. Maybe that's an option. Go there for 2 years. What happens when you're good there? What if they're going to keep paying me? What if I get a team? Hypothetically, what if you get 5 guys over there who are just like the dream team? And I'm not saying this will happen anytime soon. I'm saying it would have to happen way down the line. But you look at it in soccer. There's not one soccer league. Okay? There's a bunch of them. So is the NBA allowing their talent to kind of leak out into other avenues? I mean, obviously everyone's going to want to come back to the United States. But at the end of the day, money's money. So I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, I get what you're getting at, but I mean, we saw with Brandon Jennings, it didn't look like that turned out too well. He seemed pretty lost over there, you know?
Well, that was one guy.
But I see what you're saying.
5 of them? That's all I'm saying.
All right, that's going to do it for our opening segment. We're moving on to a new segment that we've created where we're going to have a different little game that we play each week with our secondary topics. So for this week, we're going to play Head to the Therapist. So me and Tom are going to be switch off playing the therapist and see our patient of the week.
We'll see how this goes. This is
a little
this
trial.
This is unrehearsed freestyle game.
So I'm going to be a therapist for our first question. Welcome Charlie Strong to the Unsportsmanlike Lounge. Sit back in your chair, relax, Charlie.
I am sitting back.
And Charlie, tell me this. Why did you tell the media yesterday, you've just been hired by Texas earlier this year, and why did you decide to tell them that there's no shot Texas wins a national championship next year?
Well, I thought that honesty is the most important thing in a relationship, and I was just trying to be honest with the people of Texas and let them know that there's probably not going to be a national championship coming. I don't really see much wrong with that. I'm just trying to speak the truth, and I'm just trying to be real with the people. And
be real with the people.
Yes,
that's what you're calling. That's what you're calling
yes.
your fellow Lone Star brethren.
Yes. My arms are crossed right now because I'm in a defensive position, and I need my therapist.
Charlie, I understand it's not likely you win a championship, but why not just play it cool? Say it's going to be a tough year, but the future's looking bright. give a bunch of that bullshit, blah, 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 and make the
Well,
positive.
I'm also-
You're a recruiter. You've got to instill confidence.
I'm also trying to temper the flames. I mean, we got a whole thing going on with Baylor right now where we got a lot of Twitter talk back and forth between our players. And I'm just trying to relax everyone. I'm trying to maybe bring everyone back to earth a little bit. Maybe that wasn't the best way to do it, but I was trying to do it. Anyway, now I'm going to welcome someone into
Wait, Charlie, you got to leave.
Oh, okay, I'm out.
All right.
Door's closed. That was my clap noise.
Okay. Now you're a therapist.
Now I'm a therapist. Yeah. Great position to be in. Carmelo, why don't you lay back and have a seat? What's troubling you, Carmelo?
Carmelo who?
Carmelo Anthony. How many you think there's more than one Carmelo? Like,
what's troubling me? My coach was just fired. It's instilled confidence in me that Phil Jackson is now the president, but I don't have a ring. And LeBron has a ring. Chris Bosh has a ring. Dwayne Wade has 3 rings. And I don't have a ring. I got a college ring, but I want that pro ring. That's what's worrying me right now.
Well, first of all, you should sell all of your college memorabilia immediately. That's just my point of view. But I think that you need to stay in New York. You have the majority.
Wait, I thought you just asked me the questions. I didn't know you gave me the advice in the therapy.
I'm a therapist, man. I'm trying.
I guess. I haven't even gotten to say what I feel yet, and you're already telling me to stay in New York.
You get how you feel then, Carmelo.
Well, I think Phil has the chance to build something great here, but I also think those things take time, and I don't want to be 35 by the time we have a winner in New York, so Chicago looks pretty good to me right now. I think Derrick Rose will be fine. I like the way Joakim Noah's been playing this year. And a big 3 of Joakim Noah, myself, and Derrick Rose, along with a coach like Thibs, I think I could have a ring on my finger next year.
Let me ask you something, Carmelo. This may be a little off-putting to hear, but do you feel that maybe you are a little bit of a team cancer? And that maybe you need a guy like Phil Jackson who's worked with Kobe, who's worked with Michael Jordan, and figured out a way to get those guys who are quote-unquote ball hogs, not saying you are one, but you're a ball hog, and get guys like you to win rings. I think that's what you need right now.
I have heard that before. Sometimes I do go online and I do see things like that. I find it a little troubling.
Right.
But I just feel like my role on the Bulls could be more like the role I served on the Olympic team, I've got a facilitator in Derrick Rose. I got a great coach, some great role players, and I can be one of the best players in the world and just have a great role, I don't have to be the man.
And one last question before you leave, since you brought up the Olympics. We got this whole patient-doctor confidentiality thing, so no one will hear about this.
Yeah.
How were those Olympic parties?
There's not much I can say, but there's a reason that they increased the amount of condoms that went to the Winter Olympics. That's all I can. I can't really say anything more on that matter. Moving on, I'm heading back to the therapist role after those comments. I can't continue to sit in the patient chair.
Confidentiality. Yeah, no one will ever know. It's fine.
All right, so now you are Bill O'Brien. I am Roger Goodell. You are about to head to the podium. I need the envelope with the first pick of the NFL draft. What does the first pick say?
Well, what's troubling me a little bit is obviously we need a quarterback. Matt Schaub did not work out. Not really sold on what we've got.
Started balding pretty quickly, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, real fast. And well, we'll get to that later. But
he's a Raider.
Well, I'm bald as well. Aren't I? Bill O'Brien? Whatever. Not important. I go with the best player available, and I go ahead and pick Jadeveon Clowney. I know he's got the hustle issues.
The hustle issues.
But as far as I see it, there are 5 quarterbacks that are pretty interchangeable. Maybe I like one more, but I don't really see anyone at the quarterback position where I feel like I need to get them number 1, otherwise I'm in trouble. And I understand that the quarterback and the coach, my job is on the line with the quarterback, but I feel like I can maybe cover up some of the quarterback's mistakes if I have the best defense in the NFL.
Okay. All right. I didn't even have to. You know what? I feel like that's a sound decision, so I'm not even going to ask you any further questions. Yeah. The therapist knows when not to talk. All right. We're to our last patient.
Last patient. Yeah. And you are a Hall of Fame voter.
I am a Hall of Fame voter, and you.
What is troubling
my therapist?
Yeah. What question?
Well, right Albert Pujols just hit his 500th home run, and I know I'm going to have to make this decision in probably 5-10 years. Is do I vote Albert Pujols into the Hall of Fame based off a criteria like 500 home runs, or do I not take that into consideration anymore because there's so many people hitting the 500? So I just kind of asked my own question. Why are you not? You're
supposed to.
I'm Albert.
I figured the way this game worked, you come in with a problem, I give you a suggestion, then you bounce back with.
All right. Do 500 home runs matter anymore? Should I still take them into consideration? Tell me what I do. There we go.
I would say yes. I still think it's an elite club. There's less than 30 people in it. I realize there's a huge increase in people hitting it now, but still means something to me. It should mean something to you. You should vote all the 500 home run hitters, regardless of steroid era.
Regardless if the juice.
Don't care.
Okay.
Vote them in.
All right, that's gonna do it for our. I kind of like the therapy set, and we'll have different segments.
Yeah,
we got to work on.
We got like 5 games in the works.
Yeah.
And if you have any better ideas or whatever, go ahead and tweet it at us.
Yeah, we do have a new Twitter account, US Conduct. We've been tweeting from it lately. We have one follower, which is
I am not even following this yet.
Myself. We just started it up, but we've actually got a bunch of good content on there that we're starting to tweet out. So definitely follow us at US Conduct. Moving on to the second half of the show, we got a guest, Jovan Buha, blogger for the Clippers, ESPN blogger, writer for Fox Sports. I'd like to welcome you to the show. How's it going, Jovan?
It's going well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And before we even get into it, most important question of the day. You were voted top 10 sexiest sports writers in LA. I just want to know where you framed that certificate or whatever they give you for being that.
It's at the top of the list, I'd say. It was really funny because it was like 2 days after New Year's, so I was a little bit hungover, and then I just see all these people start tweeting at me, like you made this list, and I had never heard of the writer before, but I guess he stumbled on like my Twitter account making the list and just kind of added me at the last second. So I was honored.
It's got to be a great honor.
A lot of ribbing from my friends. Yeah.
One you definitely try to achieve when you get into writing.
That's the first thing you try to do, guys. You got to make the sexiest blank list, whatever your profession is. But I guess we should talk about basketball now. Is that what we should do?
Yeah, I mean, we got a great series in front of us right now. Clippers, Warriors. The intensity has never been higher. Going 1-1 back to Golden State. What are your initial thoughts? And I mean, I know you've been covering them for 3 years now, and just getting to see them kind of progress over the years. What are your thoughts about this series?
Well, the unfortunate nature of this series is that I really don't think it's a series with Andrew Bogut out. Just because I'm kind of a big guy with statistics and stuff like that, and basically anytime Blake Griffin's been on the floor, the Clippers destroyed the Warriors, and whenever he's been off the floor, it's kind of been a tied game, sort of going back and forth either way. So that's why you saw in Game 1, Blake Griffin only played 19 minutes because of foul trouble. The Warriors only won by 4. In Game 2, he plays 30 minutes and just destroys them, and the Clippers win by 40. Do I think they're going to win by 40 in another game the rest of the series? No. But I do think that the Clippers have a major advantage anytime he's on the floor. Andrew Bogut is the Warriors' best, post defender, rim protector. He's 7 feet. He's really long, really strong. And without him, they just have no one that can match up with Blake. David Lee isn't that good of an interior defender. Draymond Green's too small. Jermaine O'Neal's too old. So there really is no one that can match up with Blake. And I think that causes so many problems defensively for the Warriors that I think the Clippers will win this. I don't know how many games. I originally kind of thought 5. I didn't think Golden State would steal one in L.A. But now I think it might go 6. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because Stephen Curry hasn't gone off yet. So if he can find a way to go off in Oracle, like that changes the dynamic of the series if he can start getting hot.
So basically, looking back at last year, Doc Rivers obviously the biggest new addition to the team. What is the biggest difference you've seen in between the Doc Rivers coach Clippers and the old Vinny Del Negro coach Clippers?
Oh wow, it's night and day. I think the biggest thing that Doc does is his mantra basically is process over results, and he sticks with certain things that he believes in because he knows that in the long run it's going to pay off. So he's stuck with DeAndre Jordan no matter how bad he was playing at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, DeAndre Jordan was not that much better than he was last season. He grew a lot kind of in December, January, and started turning into this defensive monster. And I think it was just because Doc stuck with him, and he wasn't pulling him in the fourth quarter like Vinny Del Negro constantly did. I think DeAndre Jordan played in every single game last year, so 82 games, and he only played in 24th quarters. So there was 60 games where he just didn't even play in the fourth, and he played in almost every fourth quarter this season. Some of them were just because of blowouts, but I think that's been the biggest thing is Doc. He installed his Boston defense. He kind of kept the offense the same, but added a little bit of new wrinkles with J.J. Redick in there and Blake Griffin taking on more of a ball handling role. But for the most part, he's stuck with what he's believed in, and I think that's the biggest difference. Where Vinny was kind of more of a results guy, where if he put something in and it wasn't working, he'd try and change that. And then if he put that in and it wasn't working, he'd try and change that. And he was constantly changing. Remember, Blake had a quote last year that, we're changing our defense game to game. And that's not really what you want to hear about a coach. You want a defensive system and you want to implement it regardless of the opponent. You want the opponent to adjust to you, not you adjust to the opponent, unless it's someone like Stephen Curry going off for like 50 points. So I really think Doc has just stuck with what he's believed in, and that's been the biggest difference because it's been working so far.
So it definitely sounds like you believe that the decision to fire Vinny Del Negro was the right decision. And on that note, I mean, do you think that the difference in just firing a coach and hiring Doc can make this Clippers team a championship team? Do you think that's enough to get them over the hump, just that firing of a coach in that split second?
Yeah. I think so because not to rag on the Negro, but in my opinion, and just from people I've talked to around just other close observers of the team and stuff, we're pretty much in agreement. He was probably a bottom 5 coach last season, if not bottom 10. So I think just looking at that, Doc Rivers is one of only the 4 coaches in the league that have a championship. I don't know if I would put him, necessarily 3rd or 4th, but I would say he's definitely in the top 5, top 7 of coaches. I mean, he's the highest paid coach. So I think that when there's a gap like that, maybe if there's like the 18th best coach versus the 12th best coach, it's not that big of a deal. But when you're talking about maybe like the 25th best coach versus the 5th best coach, I think that's a huge gap right there.
So going along the lines of that, there's a lot of talk in the Bay Area that Mark Jackson needs to go. If he does leave and you get a guy who maybe not is as good as Doc Rivers, but a more respected coach, do you think the Warriors will make a similar kind of jump, or do you think that this is just one guy was that bad and Rivers is that good?
And on that note, do you think he deserves to be fired from what you've heard and from what you've watched, or do you think these are different situations?
I don't think Mark Jackson is as bad as Vinny Del Negro was, but I actually was talking about this with someone, and I was kind of going through team by team, kind of comparing Mark Jackson to everyone's coach, and I think I ranked him like 12th or 13th. So I still think he's an above average coach, but I think his issue is I think the biggest misconception about this Warriors team, and it kind of just dates back because of how they were last season. Everyone kind of thinks of them as like this offensive team with a bunch of fireworks and a bunch of shooting, which they are and they should be, but actually this season they're the 3rd best defensive team. The best defensive team in the West, 12th. So I just think with a team with this much offensive talent, arguably the 2 best shooters in the league, they should be a top 5 or top 3 offense. They should be outside of the top 10. And I think a lot of that comes down to Mark Jackson, just his system. I think he runs a lot of weird post-ups. He posts up and Klay Thompson and Harrison Barnes a lot.
Lots of weird isolation plays.
Yeah, and a lot of isos and post-ups, which worked in the 90s. It's almost like he's playing like 90s Knicks ball, like what he played himself, and kind of, okay, we're gonna be a good defensive team, but offensively we're gonna run really inefficient stuff, and because we're so talented, we're still gonna be an above average offense. But I don't think he's maximized them offensively. I think the other thing is that this team, dating back to last season too, like they play much better with Andrew Bogut at center and then 4 shooters around him. So I think the ideal lineup would be Bogut at center, Draymond Green or Harrison Barnes at the 4, Iguodala, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. But if you notice, I didn't mention someone, and that's David Lee, who's making $15 million a year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this weird dynamic where David West is getting paid like an all-star, and last year he made the all-star team. But just statistically, and even going back to the playoffs, when they made their run against the Nuggets, he was out, and then he comes back against the Spurs, and they kind of changed their style, and they're not as effective. Not saying they would have beaten the Spurs, but I do think when Stephen Curry has so many shooters around him, he has so much more freedom, and giving that guy freedom is just like it's a death kill for the opponent. So I think they need a new coach. The person I would want to see there is Stan Van Gundy. I think he did some really cool stuff in Orlando with kind of ahead of his time with stretch fours and shooting a lot of threes. And I think with Stephen Curry, you can never shoot too many threes. Like that guy, I wouldn't care if he took 20 threes a game because he'd be making 12 or 13, and he's just that good of a shooter. So yeah, I think Mark Jackson, if they don't make the second round, I think he's gone. And I think they are going to look to upgrade that position.
Last question for you. As far as the Clippers go, how far do you see them going in this year's playoffs? And yeah, do you think a championship is in the sights this year, or they need another year in Doc's system?
I think they need another year. I think there's a couple big gaps on the team. I still don't think they ever found that third big man that they're looking for. Big Baby's nice, but I don't think he can fill that role right now. He kind of has been out of shape this season. Has played himself back into shape a little bit, but I don't think he could be your third big man right now. And then they kind of need a stopper. I guess Matt Barnes is that guy, but he's still not like the ideal stopper. So I think if they can find this offseason a good third big man and a better starting wing that can serve as like a Tony Allen or something like that, I think they'll be a lot better because right now they're going to match up with OKC most likely in the second round, and I just think Kevin Durant's going to go bananas with no one really to guard him. So the optimist in me says I think they beat the Thunder and make the conference finals and lose to the Spurs, but I could easily see them losing to the Thunder in round 2. So I think they need another year of seasoning with Doc and just to add a couple more pieces.
All right, Jovan. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Before we let you go, you wanna push your Twitter handle? Where can people read what you got to say about the Clippers? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, so follow me on Twitter. It's at Jovan Buha, JOVAN BUHA, and I usually tweet all my stuff that I write about. So yeah, you can catch all my stuff there.
Sweet, good deal, man.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for joining us. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the remainder of this Warriors-Clippers series.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And anytime you want to bring me back, I'm glad to do it.
No problem, man. Take it easy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we want to thank Jovan for being on the show. It was great having him.
Great guest.
Yeah, a lot of really insightful information about what's going on with the Clippers and just kind of the whole what's wrong with Mark Jackson and the Warriors. There's definitely some great input there. But the show's coming to a close. How
are you going to do it? You give like the most generic compliment right there. He's a great kid.
What do you mean generic compliment? I thought it was really insightful. I don't think a lot of the guests we used to have on the show back when we were in college, I kind of was like, what are you talking about? So it's not a generic.
This is like, I thought he was one of our best guests ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why you got to call me out on the show? I apologize for sounding so generic. Okay. I genuinely meant that. I guess I'm so sarcastic so often that when I actually deliver a heartful compliment, it comes off, Well,
I've actually never. Well, the problem is you've never complimented me, so I've never heard what that sounds like. So
well. Jovan, I apologize. I thought you were one. I thought you were. Now you get into the best, one of the best. It start hurting feelings.
Mount Rushmore.
You were an amazing guest for our show. We appreciate it. We got just a few minutes left on the show. We're gonna head to our social media moment of the week. Tommy loves this.
This one's great. It's in no way, shape, or form sports related, but the New York Police Department thought they'd do a nice little promotion. They wanted people to tweet promotion. They wanted people to tweet pictures of them with their beloved
NYPD
local
brethren.
Officers.
I love saying brethren.
Brethren. Yeah. Well, not because maybe they're not.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But with the hashtag MyNYPD yes. Unfortunately, what ended up happening, and you can go on Twitter and search this. people were just posting pictures of NYPD people beating the crap out of people in a total
that is one
reaction.
of the funniest. They should have seen that one coming. That is one of the funniest things.
Well, see, this is what happens when I would have to assume maybe they don't have a PR guy and maybe just a guy from the bullpen. One of the officers like, I got an idea. I don't really get a New York accent, but hey, like, what if we just made this Twitter thing? I never thought it was a sweet idea.
Man,
did not turn out.
I can't wait to see if we can find a better social media story next week because that's one of the better blunders I've heard. That's classic, top notch. Congrats to the NYPD for that.
Yeah, good idea, guys.
All right, before we get out of here, we're gonna do predictions. So very cliche predictions. We're gonna go who we think's gonna win each of these NBA series currently going on. So, Tommy, let's run through them real quick. Brooklyn, Toronto. I got Brooklyn. Who do you have?
I got the Raptors.
Nice. I don't know why you just fluctuated your voice to that level.
Well, because I'm sitting further away than the microphone than I was earlier. I wanted to make sure that it stayed the same.
The tone and the way okay.
It was a confident Raptor.
So, moving on. Pacers, Hawks. I got Pacers.
I would tend to agree. Yeah, Pacers. Pacers in 5.
Chicago Wizards. This one's interesting. As we're on the show right now, Wizards up by 7 at halftime of game 2. Bulls lost game 1. I'm still sticking with the Bulls, but say Bulls in 7. Tommy, we got limited time.
I really do want to say the Wizards, but I just can't. I'll go with the Bulls.
All right, what's our next series?
Let's see. We got, I'll give you another easy one. The scary Bobcats against the Miami Heat.
Heat in 5.
Okay. No, 5. You give them one game?
Let's go.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
We don't care about
Grizzlies and Thunder.
Thunder in 7.
Grizzlies in 7.
Wow, there we go. I like the bold pick. I respect that.
That's bold.
Mavericks Spurs.
Mavericks Spurs. We don't even talk about this.
Spurs.
All right.
Warriors Clippers.
Clippers. Not even a contest. Clippers.
I'm gonna say Warriors in 7. Let's just shake it up. I know I'm wrong, but I'm a Warriors fan. Come on.
And our last one. The Trailblazers at the Rockets.
I'm going to say Blazers in 7. Just say Dwight. The doomsday of Dwight.
I say Blazers. I don't know how many games. I think it won't even go 7, though. I think the Blazers will win this, and I think that they will surprise people.
We already know how you feel about the Blazers.
They're in Portland.
Tommy thinks the Blazers might be come out of the West. All right, we already get it.
I never said that. I think the Spurs
we have it recorded.
I think the Spurs will.
This is what's going to go on the show of you saying the Blazers are the best chance to upset the Spurs.
I said best chance. I didn't say what happened.
Not only did you never say that, you said that on this episode.
I never said.
You know when you get in an argument and someone tries to say they didn't say something, not only do we have this recorded, it's on the same episode. The people who are listening just heard that 15 minutes ago.
I think the Spurs will make it out of the West. You asked me who has the best shot of taking the spot from them.
All right.
And that was my answer.
I'm just saying,
You did not ask me who will beat the Spurs. You said, who has the best shot? You can rewind this. You can rewind it later.
I know.
We got all these cool Facebook buttons or YouTube buttons and all kinds of stuff where you can just click it right away and people will find it. You can just go right to it. Can we mark that point in the episode?
We will.
Okay,
we'll take note of it. So that's going to do it for our second episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Get you out of here in a quick 30 minutes. We'll be back next week to discuss more NBA playoffs. We will talk NHL next week. I feel bad we didn't get to it, but we do know a little bit about hockey, and we will talk about that little bit we know about hockey.
Yeah, I mean,
I could have said that in a more concise.
Yeah, I mean, two guys from California really know a lot about the cold weather and playing on the pond. Remember back in elementary school, we used to just go out on the pond with the skates and just lace them up and. Gosh, what good times.
I mean, the Kings won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, so you have a lot of fans in LA. So we can talk.
There were more Kings fans that didn't know anything about hockey.
I know, it was a joke. It was a joke. Yeah. I was going back to sarcasm. All right, that's good.
We need like some kind of hand signal for me to know about that.
The sarcasm?
Yeah.
We'll work. I mean, we're getting back into it. Take a few episodes. All right, that's going to do it for us for the second episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. For Trevor Brew.
I'm Tommy Morris. You want to give him the social media one more time?
Yeah, that's US Conduct. You can follow us on Twitter. If you go to YouTube, it's youtube.com/user/US Conduct. We're on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/US Conduct. Facebook, we're Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I somehow got us that name.
Nice.
Took a fight for it. So, yeah.
And Snapchat's too personal, so we're not doing that.
Yeah, we keep Tommy off that type of stuff. So, we will be back next week for the third episode. Same time, same place, or a different time, different place. We will see you there.
See you.